Good afternoon. Welcome back to Knighthawks Media Availability here with interim head coach Randy Mearns and momentarily with defenseman Taylor Jensen as we get ready for the I-90 rivalry matchup, part two of this season in Buffalo. Mearnsy, it's a bit of familiar territory maybe for you a little bit headed over to the KeyBank Center in this season in particular.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, obviously, having the opportunity to work some half times with Gertz this year. Obviously, it's just down the road at the Key Bank, and then obviously previous to that, as you know, as I was on the adventure of coaching in the NCAA, I was fortunate enough to be a color guy with Gertz for the Bandits for a very long time. Got him dating myself, but. Yeah, excited to get back. It'll be a little surreal. It'll be a little bit different for me. Just obviously being on the other side of the ball, but excited for the opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at this and you talk about the opportunity, feels like we've talked about backs against the wall mentality through maybe even a month at this point, but there's still that playoff chance. It's not elimination. There's still maybe three scenarios that allow the Nighthawks to get into a playoff spot as long as you guys win out. Just kind of what is the message throughout a week when you face a tough loss like that last week? You're talking about we're here against the wall, but you still have room to go into the wall, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point, right? Because everybody can kind of look at the standings and how does it fall and what are the scenarios and this has to happen and that has to happen, and you can kind of get caught up into all that noise. And the truth of the matter is, Chamberlain, is this that we need to win this game. Like this is the game, and you can maybe look at it as as a back against the wall game. We're running out of time game. I mean, you can throw so many different adjectives at it, but we're well aware of it. And what else happens in the league, different games, it really honestly doesn't matter. you know Sooner or later it may matter. Like, what matters to us is we're playing the Buffalo Bandits that are playing very good lacrosse. Their defense is solid. The goaltending is solid. Obviously, the face-off game. I know Connor Farrell hasn't been in the last couple, but that's solid. I mean, offensively, obviously, you got Josh and Dane and Ian McKay and brought in Joey Rez and Tehoka. Like, they're a solid team. They're on a run. They're hot. They're in that playoff, that clinching playoff spot. But you know what? I don't feel, and knowing Johnny Tavares and Chugger and their players, you know, they're not going to rest on their laurels just saying, "Hey, we're in a playoff spot." Like, they're going to be bringing their A game, and we got to be able and be ready to match that.
Definitely. Spencer, I'll let you take it away real quick.
Hey coach, how are you today?
Good, Spencer. How about you?
We're doing good. Before you took over with this Nighthawks group, they did beat Buffalo 12-9 in January. Have you gone back to watch any tape from that game? And if you have, what did you really take away from it?
Yeah, I did. I got the opportunity over the last couple of days to watch a number of tapes, that obviously including Buffalo. I felt like that was a style of play that I guess the takeaway is this and I said to the guys, early this week, just like we already have the experience of beating Buffalo, right? There's always already that belief that you can do this, as much as things may not feel right or well. But we've had that experience, right? And when you look at the game, we got some transition goals offensively. It was clicking. Zeddy had a good day offensively as well. Face-offs were good, were solid. I think that was the first time Cap, maybe a second game in the league, and he was going against Connor Farrell. Defensive wise, I felt played very well. And you're not going to stop Josh and Dane and the casted crew, but you want to try to contain them to the best of their ability. Strong goaltending in net, and when you kind of put all those things together, you can win games. And as we've gone along this journey over the last 4 weeks, we've had one opportunity where I kind of felt like we put a solid game in. There's a lot of great things that we did against Halifax, but then there's also a culmination of just little errors or decisions that kind of go and kind of put us in a little bit of a hole. And quite honestly, I kind of felt like, from a face-off standpoint, I got a little bit out coached by Mike Kersey. Jake Withers is obviously one of the best in Terafenko, and they ended up getting 2 or 3 transition goals from face-off. And is that the difference? So a lot of learning experiences, but here's also what I know. I mean, we got character, we got grit, we got toughness, we got heart in our locker room. And, we're going to have to put that all together to be successful at the KeyBank.
And one more, the other guy in this call, Taylor Jensen, has now scored 2 goals in the last 2 games. Matt Gilray added a one. And how important is it to get the secondary scoring from the transition guys?
Yeah, I think it's big. It's momentum builders. For your opponents, it's sometimes deflating depending upon how the game's going along, and that's just another facet of the game. Obviously, 5-on-5, you got to get your good looks and you got to bury. But if you can get some of those in transition or off the face-off, those are momentum boosters. That's and we've talked about it over the last 4 weeks of trying to create a little bit more transition. That makes a team, maybe not hang out, look for loose balls in front of the net. They just got to get back and cover transition, which gives us a little bit more time to actually clear the ball. You don't get that written back, right? So, Taylor's had a phenomenal year. As I've gotten to get to know him, I mean, an absolute incredible athlete, can score, grit on defense, loose balls, and we're going to be counting on him this Saturday.
And then I got a couple for Taylor if he's ready.
All set, TJ? Sweet. There you
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Nice.
When you played Buffalo earlier this year, you guys held Dane Smith, Josh Byrne, Ian McKay, and Hogan Hancock to only 1 goal each. How important is it for you guys on the back end to have a performance like that again this weekend?
It's too important. We're just a pistol, right? We're the back half of the defense, and if offense is going to do their job, we're going to do ours. Our goalies are going to do their job. Everyone's going to kind of settle in and play the game that we're kind of used to. It's going to be a great game, and I'm really excited for it.
And just a second one, how nice would it feel to sweep Buffalo?
I feel great. Get another one up on the big brother. So that'd be fun. Put a smile on my face.
And we know what it's like when the Bandits fans come to Rochester. What is your message to the Knighthawks fans that are taking the trip down the I-90 to the KeyBank on Saturday?
I just would, if I could say anything to them, I would just want to thank them for supporting us, for coming together. Let's go Hawks.
Thank you. That's all I got.
Thanks, Spence. Taylor, I got a couple for you. The first one as we start, and then I'll pass it to Adam. Just last time you played the Bandits coming off of that back-to-back, just what's the difference of, playing a second game in a 30-hour span versus you have the whole week to get ready for Buffalo this time?
Yeah, I almost like playing the sorry, I just got my daughter off the bus. It's a beautiful day here in Rochester, isn't it, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Um, I almost really like playing the back to back. I felt really good. And you're kind of in it. You're already ready to go. Like your mind's already kind of right there, and any mistakes that you've worked on are or any mistakes like from the past game are over and done with, and you can really just kind of keep that foot running. There's no like you don't even have to start up again.
We'll give Taylor a minute. Adam, you got any questions for Mearnsy as we get through these technical difficulties a little bit?
Yeah, yeah. First of all, Coach, how you been? It's been a few weeks. Hope you're doing well.
I appreciate it, Adam. Yeah, doing fine. Just kind of working away, watching film, talking to our guys and getting ready for Saturday.
Of course, and to that point, you've now had a few weeks in your role as interim head coach. You've had a little bit of time to get your feet wet, to understand the guys, understand how things work, kind of in this dynamic in the National Lacrosse League and with this group. What are some of the key things that you've learned from being around this group, and how can you use what you've learned in this time already to help you guys in this final stretch?
Yeah. Well, what I've learned, is it's a special group of guys. I mean, how tight that they are. The relationships that they have, amongst the group and the support. When things are going bad, is pretty incredible. Secondly, I feel over this, quick 4 weeks. I mean, time just continues to fly by. It's pretty fleeting. I feel like I've gotten the opportunity to get to know our guys. Obviously not only on the floor but also off the floor. And I guess maybe the third key is just that I know that there is, a ton of belief in this locker room, right? And what we're trying to do from a coaching standpoint is just gear it towards this. I mean, we can hear about all the other things and the noise and the standings, and what we know is we have life, right? We have life and we have time, and that time is fleeting, and that comes on Saturday. And we believe if we can put all the facets of our game together, offensively, defensively, transition, ride, clear, face-offs, goaltending, and if we play the game that we're capable of playing, we can win this game. Like we know we can win this game. It's going to be hard to do. Nobody's going to give us anything, and we're going to have to go take this, and we're going to have to earn this. I'm just rest assured that, talking with guys in our locker room that they know that they can do this. One, the good news is they've already done it before against Buffalo. So there's that good, positive experience. And as much as things have gone downtrodden, you can't do anything about the past and just learn from it. It doesn't even exist anymore, right? We can watch the tape. We can say, hey, there was a bad one. That was a great one. There was a bad one. Why did we do that? Oh, love doing that. Let's do more of that. And really try to continue to build momentum and be ready for Buffalo.
And you talked about the tight-knit nature of this group, and you've said that since day one, since you've come onto the job, and you've been a part of teams that have been successful and have also been really tight-knit. How much does that help a team when the back is against the wall, that you know that those guys are fully committed for each other when they're battling on the floor?
Yeah, I mean, it's so important, like, because you just have to be committed to each other. I feel like it starts with leadership and Danny Coates, the captain, Gilray and Smitty. They do a lot of really, really good things of inspiring, of, making sure that we don't rise too high or rise too low. Just continue to do your job. That's the thing. It's these bonding experiences that you have that I always kind of feel like that really binds you together. And quite honestly, sometimes it's the ones that suck that you go through together, whether it was a close game or maybe not so close, where, if you can still stay the course, if you can still, keep the relationship, keep the support, and continue to strive forward, those are the things that I feel, can define championship teams. Like, trying to win a championship in the NLL is pretty hard to do. You know what I'm finding out? Making the playoffs in the NLL is pretty hard to do. Yeah. Everybody's got guys. Everybody's got goaltending. Everybody's got transition, right? And for us, like, we need to bring everything on all facets. We got to be firing on all cylinders, because we got to earn it. Nobody's going to give anything to us. Like I said, hey, maybe Buffalo's already in the playoffs and clinched. Quite honestly, that doesn't matter. I know JT and Chugger and I've gotten the opportunity to know their players. Like, they're not giving us anything, and we have to rise to the occasion and meet that face to face. And I'm excited for Saturday.
And then just finally for you, Coach, obviously you guys are only focused on what you guys are doing and controlling your own fate as much as you can. But what is it? What do you have to do in terms of knowing that you guys need a lot of help around the league to make the postseason and to make things work out? Do you shut off the phone? Do you shut off the internet to make sure you're not getting that in the head?
Well, quite honestly, Adam, I haven't even looked at it, because it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. If we don't get a victory, if we're not on the successful side with a W on Saturday, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the game. Like, we're running out of time. The best part about it is, with life, is like, you have time, and then how are you going to continue to utilize that, striving for, a team oriented goal, right? So the team-oriented goal, it's one game, it's 60 minutes unless we get free lacrosse at the end of it. And we have to earn everything that we're going to be that's going to come our way, right? We're not going to be given anything. We're not going to be given a loose ball. We're not going to be given a face-off. We're not going to be given a save. Like, we have to go. We have to come with the mindset of we need to take this from the Buffalo Bandits, and I feel our group is strong, and I feel like it's this kind of rallying cry where, you know what, there's no tomorrow. So, you know, like, we just got to, like, put that to the side. So to answer your question, like, I quite honestly haven't even looked at it. I don't even know what needs to happen, to be honest with you. All I know that needs to happen is that we need to prepare our team to the best of our ability. We have to be ready to go, on Saturday. We have to earn everything that we can earn to be successful. And then from there, if we get a W, and when we get a W, that's the plan. Well, then we'll figure it out. Everybody can look at the scoreboards and figure out, oh, well, did that happen? Did that happen? But right now, that's in the future. All we can control are the controllables and how we play.
Perfect. Well, Coach, thank you so much. And you mentioned free lacrosse. With all the paywalls in lacrosse, free lacrosse is always welcome. So I would love that. But Taylor, just a quick one for you here. When it comes to past experience and kind of taking away important things from what you guys have done in the past, a couple years ago, you were in a similar situation in the standings where you needed to have a good final weekend. Now you've got 2 weekends to win a few games. How much does going through that experience a couple years ago in the final weeks help you guys be ready for what you have ahead of you now?
It helps a lot, I think, and the big part that it helps is like the mentality of we're just gonna do what we can. The train is just gonna keep chugging along, right? Like Mearns said, like we're just kind of focused on this game, this ground ball, the next ground ball, the next play, the next pass, shot, whatever, whoever's job it is, they're gonna make sure they're doing their job in this next game. And I really think that it helps us focus in on what's important and what we're really trying to do here as a team.
And then just one more quick one for you. Obviously, with the relationship that you have with your brother and with Mearnsy, having all of his connections with the Bandits, there's a lot of kind of knowledge that you guys have about the Buffalo Bandits. Also, having played them recently and beaten them as well, what can you say about that familiarity with this team that is going to be helpful for you guys this weekend?
Mernji, any answer on that one?
Yeah, I think I think, like, and again, with Taylor and with Josh, obviously the relationship there for myself, having the opportunity to, call games and be around, the Bandits over the last, 20, 25 years, and an incredible organization, incredible players. You do become familiar with how they play and what they do. And the truth of the matter is they do it really, really well in all facets, especially the last 5, 6 games. Like, they're just clicking. They don't get too high. They don't get too low. They know how to come back if they're down. They know how to step on the gas if they're up. And so, it's things that you see. It's things that you know. And I guess for myself is you can utilize that, right? You know how hard they're going to play. And so, we just have to continue to inspire our guys. It's the next play. Like, you have to play just as hard, if not harder, than how they play. Run into the bench, any of the things that happen in a game, like I said, we're going to have to take it from them.
Yeah.
Like, they're not giving us anything. And then there's that 19,000 people in Bandit land, and you get that thing rocking and rolling, and you can feel the energy. And I'm sure that, you build on that. And, we want to try to quell that energy, from the KeyBank as much as that we can. And we gotta, we gotta have our fair share of loose balls. We gotta pot our shots. I mean, Matty Vince is playing really, really well. Defensive wise, they're all 6'4", 6'5" guys, excluding Dylan. but he's absolutely a phenomenal lacrosse player as well, right? And then offensively, they're just been rolling here over the last 5-6 games, and again, Josh and Dane, lacrosse players on the planet, and I feel like they've been able to develop, some of the secondary guys. I've always loved how Kyle Buchanan has played, man. Like, he doesn't stop moving it. The Hulk is coming in his own. Ian McKay was the MVP last year, and he's a swing guy. He can play D, he can transition, those types of things. Clay Scanlon's having a really, really nice year, kind of being that complimentary. And then they go and trade for Joey Rez. Oh, let's add that to the lineup, right? And obviously more and more than capable. And we defensive wise, we have to have our best game. Communication, strategy, the loose ball work, goaltending. It's the game, because as much as there's still some season to go, to get to the playoffs, like it's the backs are against the wall. Like, we are running out of time, and I feel that, with our group and our leadership, everybody's focused, and everybody knows that, we have to earn everything, in this game. And we, it's kind of one of those things, it's pressure, and some people focus and some people fold. And I feel like our team's going to focus this weekend.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thanks, Adam.
Awesome. Thank you. Taylor, I do got to get one more from you. I mean, the familiarity question gets brought up. You already brought up, the perks of getting another one up on Big Brother. But when you take these games, I know you're not the type of person that takes them for granted. Just kind of what goes through your head on a game day when you get to play against your brother?
It's tough because, yeah, like, I've never been in this situation before, right? Like, before playing lacrosse against him, and how do I react to it is the question, right? And it's like, I've come to kind of focus on not really treating him like my brother. Like, he is just Josh Byrne, you know, a lefty with a great shot that can go underneath and drive down the wall. Like, just focus on that, him as a lacrosse player, and he's not really my brother while we're out there. Just another really good lacrosse player, and I got to focus on his tendencies and things he likes to do. Okay, and then after the game, we'll give him a hug and we'll call each other brothers again. So that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah. Is it cool for you as a parent to have that kind of opportunity too, for as your kid grows up, getting to see you and her uncle playing against each other in a game? Does that kind of just bring even more joy into it?
Yeah, I think so. She used to root for the Bandits when we played against each other. I think she thought it was funny because I'd get all, but now she's rooting for me, and but she likes to go Uncle Josh when he's out there, and she'll say go Dad too when I'm playing. So it's good. I love lacrosse, and it's done so much for me, and I hope my daughter, gets to get as much out of it as I can.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
Yeah.
Any more questions from either? 'Cause we're here. All right. That's all. Thanks everyone for joining us for Media Day today, media availability, and apologies for the technical difficulties there, but we got through them. Be sure to tune in 7 p.m. Eastern time as the Knighthawks take on the Buffalo Bandits at the KeyBank Center in Buffalo. We'll see you then.